the whole concept is that we are looking at how we can get functionally based MOAA members together to form a different type of chapter that has no geographic boundaries. So we started our MOAA Army Nurse virtual chapters, and then we very shortly realized that actually we needed to be a uniformed services nurse advocates virtual chapter, because that is what MOAA is about. We are about all services. And so last March, we transitioned to a uniformed services nurse advocates. And by the way, we are looking at this type of a chapter because there is a bond that forms in that community of interest. And so it was really easy for us to look at the strengths that we had as military nurses and also members of our Commission Corps of the Public Health Service. All of those groups belong to, or services belong to MOAA. So this has become a really interesting concept to develop as we bring together the nursing careers that we have had, the strengths that we have had, the interests that we have had in the care of patients and their families. And our major focus as a group is then to help work on those healthcare related legislative matters. And if you take a look at the usual listing of legislative goals that MOAA develops for a year, it's very interesting because a high percentage of those goals actually are related to the healthcare arena. And so this is a very natural fit for us. We then see that other communities can have a like type of bond that forms because you've had similar service, either currently serving or past serve, or past service, sorry. So let me tell you a little bit about how we have been pulling this virtual chapter together. National MOAA in the Council and Chapters Office had developed a beginning comparison or matrix about the different types of chapters and some beginning guidelines. So we have followed them, and then we have been able to, as time has gone by, evaluate those beginning guidelines and enhance them or make some recommendations for some additions or changes. So that's been very fruitful. Our chapter has felt a very strong sense of responsibility for helping to be pioneers in this effort to develop virtual chapters across MOAA. And so as we started to put this to paper and to practice our virtual chapter business, it was always with the intent of developing a toolkit, which we now have, so that other groups that are forming as virtual chapters don't have to ever start from scratch, that they're welcome to use those tools that we have developed. It's really been fun. We now have 48 members in 17 different states. So we're all over the country, and we have the most interesting people. They have had such unique career paths, and so we are also capitalizing on their interest in healthcare legislation and how we can still make a difference. Because as you know, MOAA's motto is never stop serving. And so we kind of feel that perhaps some of us are not actually hands-on with patients right now at this time of our lives, but by the way, we can still help take care of our military service members and their families, past and present, in a different way. And that's by advocating for their health care needs and policies through our virtual chapter and our efforts to support the MOAA legislative goals. So that's very exciting. I'll give you a little bit of an idea of how we work. We have a great interest in not only developing the virtual chapter, but also supporting the geographic chapters that are close to where our members live. So I think that that's an important thing. We don't want to be in competition, but rather supplement one another. And so it really has been turning out to be a lot of fun. We have a monthly teleconference. We usually have a speaker, and very often that is someone from our membership who has an interest and an expertise in a topic. And so we try to capitalize that. We also have a great opportunity to reach out to those who are on staff with National MOAA, and we have enjoyed those engagements as well. We're all involved in the Legislative Action Center, and we share a lot of information about that. And it's very interesting because a lot of our members who are serving in the military, a number of them went on to then work with the VA. So, for example, that is a very big topic of mutual interest, and so we learn a lot from each other. We are also now in the arena of helping and providing support to the second virtual chapter, that is our surviving spouses. And we're very interested in supporting that group and helping them as much as we can. And so we think that this is a very natural thing for MOAA to be engaged in, especially when we are looking at particularly our active duty personnel are currently serving. You know, they come into the service and then they have hopefully a career of traveling and being assigned and being deployed all over the world. We believe that if that functionally based cohort, that community, there is a natural affinity for membership, and that it really can work so nicely. It can work for logisticians, for aviators, for judge advocates, generals. We can, any particular occupational field would lend itself also to a virtual chapter. So there are an amazing array of potential in the virtual chapter world. And we think particularly with the younger generation, the use of technology and the different forms of communication, virtual communication, that's part of everybody's life. So we think it was a very smart idea for a National MOAA to pursue that. And I personally am so grateful to the leadership support, because they have been behind us 100%. And it is new, it's different. Every time you want to introduce something new and different, it does take time. It has to grow, it has to develop. And so we've had a lot of great support, and we're very pleased with how that is coming along. You probably are interested in how our membership is growing and how we're getting that word around. So here are some of the ways that we have been exploring this topic, because I think reaching out is very, very important. It's amazing how many people we have found that are National MOAA members and have been so for a long time, but have not been involved at the geographic chapter for one reason or another. So as I mentioned before, we are not in competition. In fact, one of the neat things about virtual chapters is that as people really get to see MOAA in action and get involved, we've had a number of them join the geographic chapters close to them that had not joined before. So I think it's a very complementary type of experience as well. So how do we reach out? Well, we reach out by communicating with our friends, with the people that we served with. We had a column in the Military Officer magazine talking about that. We have a webinar that's on the MOAA website that we encourage people to explore. And we use every type of opportunity, Facebook, etc., to reach out. We have an outreach letter that we have our folks share with their other colleagues, and also with an online fillable form, membership form. We have 2 criteria for membership. One, you need to be a national MOAA member, and then you need to have served or are serving in the nursing arena and had that military experience or public health experience in the Commissioned Corps. So we've been pretty successful in reaching out, and we see, like in any other chapter, it's outreach, trying to spread the good word, and we've had pretty good support. And we find that people see this as a great opportunity to catch up with people, to find out what is happening. We do a lot of things virtually that we're not able, because we are all over the country. I think you'll see that you have to be pretty creative. But it's very enjoyable, and I think a lot of folks see this as a neat opportunity to keep up professionally, to keep up legislatively, to make a difference. And I think that that is very, very common, that people want to make a difference. They've had a good career, or they're still working, and they want to get involved, and they want to do what they can. So our advocacy for healthcare related legislation is really important to us, and we're happy, we believe, to make that difference. I know personally, I was very excited to be able to get into this particular part of MOAA business, because I learned from being a member, being a council president, and having the opportunity to storm the Hill, how important it is to be able to reach out to our legislators. And so we've been trying to, certainly that's part of what we do, to support MOAA's agenda, legislative agenda. We've had very good experience in getting our members out, making phone calls, communicating with them, and trying to do the right thing and never stop serving. Thank you.